We're reading every Spider-Man ever, and this is Daredevil issue 27. Daredevil is swinging around the city in search of Stilt-Man, who escaped in the previous issue. Instead of his quarry, Daredevil finds Spider-Man instead, in combat with 3 carjackers. Daredevil leaps into the fray, not to save Spider-Man exactly, but just to help. But Spidey doesn't appreciate the assistance. He can't have this city think that he can't beat up 3 thugs by himself. So Daredevil leaves, but not before asking Spider-Man to keep an eye out for a man on stilts. Speaking of Stilt-Man, he's with the masked marauder in a secret base. The masked marauder shows him his new helicopter, which has a force field around it that can destroy anything that touches it. In response, Stilt-Man shows off his stilts that let him get really tall really quickly. The 2 villains team up with a plan to capture those lawyers that seem to have some connection to Daredevil. And so, we find Stilt-Man at the offices of Nelson and Murdock, and he floods the room with gas. Because of his heightened sense of smell, Matt Murdock is the first to fall unconscious, but his friends soon fall too, and they're all captured and taken on board that force field helicopter we saw before. On board, the masked marauder demands to know the identity of Daredevil, and Matt Murdock instantly caves. Daredevil is Mike Murdock, his twin brother. Look, it's a lot to get into, but during this time, to keep his identity a secret, Matt made up a secret twin brother, and everyone thinks that this twin brother, Mike Murdock, is Daredevil. Just go with it. Karen Page is angry that Matt would just give up his brother like that, and the masked marauder sends Stilt-Man to find this Mike and capture him. Stilt-Man tries the phone book first, but what with Mike not being a real person, he doesn't exist in the phone book. So Stilt-Man decides to rob a store, hoping that his crime will lure Daredevil out of the woodwork. And a hero does come to apprehend him, but the wrong one. It's Spider-Man! Stilt-Man raises really high up on his stilts to escape the web slinger, but Spidey swings up high and punches. Back on the helicopter, and Matt is looking for a way to escape. The perfect opportunity presents itself when the masked marauder announces that he's going to throw them all out and into the force field. Since Matt gave up his brother, he'll get the mercy of going first. Matt pretends that he doesn't want to die before slamming into the marauder, knocking him into the switch that controls the force field and switching it off. And then, when the masked marauder shoots at him, he moves his hands into the way, splits the rope with the bullet, leaps out of the helicopter, swings underneath the vehicle while changing out of his clothes, and emerges on the other side as Daredevil. Ta-da! The 2 men fight, and Daredevil realizes that he recognizes the marauder's heartbeat. He knows who this villain is. The fight pushes the marauder into the control panel, and the helicopter is suddenly flying upside down. Just as the masked marauder shoots at Daredevil, a hero reveals his name, Frank Farnham, the office manager for Nelson and Murdock. Frank switches on the force field once more, angry that his name has been revealed, but Daredevil moves quickly with a punch to stop him and accidentally sends the villain through an open door and into that force field that was just switched on before Daredevil can switch it off. The masked marauder is disintegrated. Elsewhere, Stilt-Man has stunned Spidey with a gas canister and wades out into the water to return to the helicopter. There, he finds Daredevil, the man that he was looking for, hanging underneath. He pulls out a weapon at the hero and fires, but it's an electronic weapon, and he's standing in the water and he short circuits. His legs begin to shrink. With no electricity, they can't work, and he falls into the water, and the villains are defeated. Thanks for watching, follow for the next issue, and while we wait for that one, here's a fun fact about this one. This issue was the first to use a brand new corner box on the cover, drawn by John Romita and replacing the previous image by Wally Wood.